A new environmental NGO, which launched this week, calls itself the Healthy Forests Foundation. But an ABC investigation has found it's been set up and run by some of the most powerful logging interests in the country, leading to claims it's a front group for logging. To discuss this, I'm joined by the ABC's National Environment reporter, Michael Slezak. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us. Just firstly, who is the Healthy Forests Foundation? Yeah, so it's this new not-for-profit company that was registered with ASIC, the Register of Australian Businesses, on the 28th of June this year. The first board members that we can see on those documents show that they are mostly made up of people from this company called Pentark. So it's the owners of Pentark and a senior executive there, and Monique Dawson, who is the CEO of the recently closed Victorian logging agency, VicForests. So Pentark is a private logging company. They run some logging operations, and they also own a wood chip mill and a couple of sawmills that process native timber. And VicForests, many viewers will remember, is was a scandal-plagued Victorian logging agency. It was accused of widespread and systemic illegal logging. It was accused of spying on activists, and was shut on 30th of June this year. The interesting thing was that this group was actually set up just 2 days before VicForests closed, and so the CEO of VicForests was on the board 2 days before she finished up her old role, it looks like, and is now the CEO of this new organisation. It also quickly went on to hire what looks like about 5 people that we can see. 4 of those 5 people came from VicForests, the loggers, and the 5th is a logging lobbyist. Okay, so what does this new NGO say their purpose is? So as I said, yeah, they're a not-for-profit organisation. Their stated purpose is that protection and restoration of the natural environment, with a focus obviously on forests, as is in the name. They also note in their constitution that one of their purposes is to promote First Nations forest management, which has actually been something that's been quite supported by the logging industry recently. The obvious connection between the logging industry and First Nations forest management is that for many First Nations forest management proposals, removing trees and then supplying that to the timber industry is a part of that management. And so you can see why the logging industry might be interested in that aspect of it, at least. But the plan for this group, they say that they're not a forestry organisation. They say it's too early to talk about their intentions yet because they're just in their startup mode. And they say that they're going to be focused on the key threats facing forests. Okay, so what's the response been to this organisation's launch so far? Yeah, so one prominent proponent of First Nations forest management has been very supportive of it coming about. This is Rodney Carter, who I spoke to. He's the CEO of the Dja Dja Wurrung Aboriginal Clans Corporation. They've got a very developed proposal for forest management, and he thinks that this looks like a good idea that could support proposals like the one that they have. But he's open about his view about what the interest is of this group. He told me that he thinks that the people behind this group see First Nations management of forests as a way to fill that gap that was created when VicForests was shut down. I spoke to another Dja Dja Wurrung elder, Gary Murray. He's very opposed to the idea of removing trees from the forest and the ideas proposed by the corporation that he's a member of. And a prominent forest ecologist, David Lindenmayer, told me that he thought this looked like what did he call it? He called it greenwashing on steroids. Okay. So he thinks it's a way just to continue logging. Okay, so how has the foundation responded to these criticisms? So one of the criticisms that I didn't mention actually is this idea that they're using, that it's called black cladding, that they're using the access that First Nations people have to forests in order to profit for non-Indigenous organisations. They said that accusation made by Gary Murray, that elder that I spoke to, was racist and offensive. They said that they'll engage respectfully with traditional owners. I asked them about Pentark's involvement and whether they had funded this organisation as a big private logging company. They didn't answer that. Pentark didn't respond to any questions at all. The foundation said that its current board members were interim and that they were looking to get more onto the board in the near future. But overall, their response was that, look, they're committed to the protection of forests, and that's what they'll be doing. Okay, no doubt you'll stay across it and get back to us when you have more. Michael Slezak, thank you. Thanks.